Hello everyone, Joshua Aura is my name. I teach ACCA, CPA and ATD at Regional Center of Management. RCM, that is Regional Center of Management, is a premier institution of management advisory. To stamp our authority as a center of management, we would wish to offer free advisory to corporations through such great videos. And today, to be able to help our corporations in terms of how they are managed outside there, I would want us to speak about Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is the father of modern management. If you recall, Henry Fayol coined the 5 functions of management. And he also came up with the 14 principles of management. All organizations, if you have to succeed in terms of increasing your productivity, in terms of growing your revenues, growing your earnings per share, in terms of controlling your costs, you need to embrace Henry Fayol's 14 principles. Today, I would only want to talk about the 14 principles because of basically the 3 minutes that I have to present this clip. 14 principles of Henry Fayol. You will get even the great students who have gone through these MBAs, who have gone through ACCA and the CPAs, they are not able to commit these 14 principles to their memories. Most of them will forget. Out of 14, perhaps some of them will remember 3, the very best maybe could remember 10, and that is why we sat down as a group of management practitioners who work under the RCM umbrella and coined an acronym, a mnemonic which will make you to remember the 14 principles. This acronym is very interesting. How do we remember this acronym? It's very easy. For you to remember this, we sat down and coined this. It's a very easy one. Look at this. It's a very easy one. Just a kid who is trying to ask his dad whether he remembers some state, USSR, in Russia. So the statement is very easy. Dad, you see USSR? And as a good dad, how does he respond? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. The moment you remember this acronym, mnemonic, you will be able to account for your 14 principles of management without really putting a lot of energy in trying to get them out of your brains. Now listen to me. Dad, you see USSR? Oh, I see. This D stands for what? D stands for division of work. A stands for authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility. You'll get everybody in Kenya here rushing for positions of authority. But you see, authority comes with what here? Responsibility. So they go for those positions of authority, but they fear responsibility. According to Henry Fayol, authority always works together with responsibility. We have D. This D stands for discipline. If you are to get anywhere in terms of productivity, in terms of moving your organization from one level to another, you require a very disciplined workforce. A workforce that is committed to whatever they are doing. A workforce that understands the concept of time management. A workforce that will work with due diligence, which is similar to what we normally see in the military, what we call the military precision. So disciplined workforce. We have you U is the unity of direction. All of us should have that urge and the knowledge that we are moving towards meeting the company's goal. If, for example, we are a profit maximizing entity, then everybody, every department in that organization should be profit sensitive. And that is where you need to convert every person, every department, every activity to a profit center, so that everybody in that organization speaks one language, the language of profits. It's called goal congruence, ensuring that our individual goals, departmental goals, are aligned to the company's main objective. We have C. C is centralization. I know many of us will argue against aspects of putting everything together. Remember, however much we would want to decentralize, still, whatever that will be on top there should be in good control. Whichever organ that should be on top there should be in good control. If it's the board of directors, they must have a deep understanding of our operations. They must know who is who in that organization and whatever that they do. Centralization. Remember, even as a human being, we have brains. Our brains in this case here are the ones that hold us together, that make us do whatever we are doing. So under centralization, never forget that whatever that we have up there, the top organ, should be in control. Basically, in the know about what happens in this organization. Remember, as Chinua Achebe told us, if the center cannot hold, things fall apart. After that, we have U. U is the unity of command. Unity of command. We need, like we are saying here, even if we are working in small groups, we need like bosses, people to be in charge of these groups, and those people should be able to lead us to where this organization wants us to go. So the concept of what here? Respecting authority again here. So we have command. We're being shepherded by people, of course, of integrity to fulfill the mission and the vision of the organization. We have this S. The S stands for security of tenure of personnel. There is nothing that is as risky as an employee who feels that his job is under threat, as an employee who thinks that the next day he may wake up and not be in his workplace. If people are that fearful, they will do crazy things in this organization. Listen to me. There was this survey that was done just the other day here, which came up with something very interesting. That 70% of our Kenyan workforce, regardless of their sector of operations, whenever they go to their places of work, they've got an intention of stealing. Are we thieves, Kenya? Not in Kenya alone. It's all over. You'll get employees saying today, how I wish something can fall on me. Right? It could be stealing, for example, your employer's time. It could be stealing assets, basically the misappropriation and so forth. But now remember these. The moment these employees do not have a security of their tenure, that percentage, believe you me, will go very high. It could very easily reach 100%, where everybody scampers here in the morning and thinks about what can we grab from this organization. So for us to move forward, for us to enjoy what we call longevity of organizations, we need to reach that level where we guarantee job security. Job security. Now we have the next S. The next S is subordination of individuals' interests. Subordinate means coming second. Subordinate means inferior. Now remember, whenever we work for these organizations, we will be having individual goals and there shall be company's goals. In case there is a conflict between the two, we should always, according to Fayol, accept our individual goals to become second, to be inferior, to be inferior, to be inferior. Always, it should be the major goal, the major objective of the company outstanding at the end of the day. But in Africa, what do? We do things opposite. The moment you give us a chance to be in charge of some section, some company, first of all, I would want to acquire as much as possible from this organization. So you realize, like, if you are stealing from these organizations, of course, there won't be the goals of profit maximization of the company standing at the end of the day. So remember, as we've said, you will always have conflicting interests. Your interest conflicting to the interests of the company. And according to Fayol, for us to be able to move forward, we need to be at that particular level where we have our interests being subordinated. And Fayol himself, he lived his talk. When he was the CEO of that mining company in France, he had a chance of buying shares. Of course, being an insider, if he bought those shares, given the firm's future prospects, he would have gained immensely. But because of basically wanting not to get into loggerheads with market authorities, capital markets, with his board directors, he said, no, as much as I would want to be rich, let me subordinate my interests. And he never bought those shares. That is something that I would want you to go and Google, the life history of Henry Fayol. He was a great person. Now listen to me. Next we have got what here? Remuneration. 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 Now, the mistake that most organizations do outside here, you will get this workforce working so hard, they deliver a big cake to the organization, but at the end of the day, the workforce gets not even a tenth of that cake. So they are not able to remunerate, compensate these workers in lieu of their efforts. They're not able to compensate good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, for you to be able to move forward, because these strategies we are teaching you right away from RCM, Regional Center of Management, they are geared towards propelling these organizations to greater heights. If, as an organization, you would want to move up there, if you belong, if you want to position yourself on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, if these revenues trickle down to you, they should as well trickle down to employees through you having proper remuneration policies. Remember, the acronym, the mnemonic is very easy. To remember these 14 principles, by the way, there are 14. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have already cleared with the first component that you see USSR. Now we go to the answer and we say the good daddy should be able to answer authoritatively. Oh, I see. So this O stands for what here? Order. Ladies and gentlemen, for us to be able to reach the situation where we can even command international global markets, we need in our organizations here to have our business being conducted in an orderly way. We need order. Order basically means that things are falling in place. If you look at, for example, just how you manage your tables, if you're a manager who has got everything being lumped up on their tables, I mean, that means inefficiency. That means disorderly. Order can be seen in the way we arrange our files. It can be seen in the way we arrange our items in our computers, so that if we have got proper organization, at the end of the day, I do not have to be working at RCM. Anybody who will be coming here should be able to replace me with a lot of ease, because they will be able to find order. Whatever items I have in my computer, somebody should be able to come and access them. This is an aspect that has messed up so many organizations, We have I stands for initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, good employees of good organizations take initiatives, good initiatives upon themselves. Initiatives basically is the idea, is the concept of putting these employees, for example, together through what we call quality circles. Have them deliberate, have them have sober debates in ways that will help them bring forth, give birth to ideas that can propel us to greatness. So initiatives here, I encourage all employees in these senior Kenyan firms or employees of SMEs or even entrepreneurs, we need to be for activity. We need to be proactive. We have this S here. S stands for SCARA Chain or SCARA Chain. Ladies and gentlemen, in the SCARA Chain, we need to define our hierarchies very well. We need what we call an organizational structure. Under SCARA Chain, every employee should know their position in the hierarchy of the firm. Where are we? Are we up there? Are we down there? We need to know whom should we be reporting to every other day we come to our workplaces. Next, we have these E's are very important to me. They are very important to the organizations that I normally visit outside there personally to mentor them, to advise them. This E stands for equity. Equity basically means fairness. Are we fair, for example, in terms of how we share the cake? Are we an organization where we have a few people controlling the entire thing, and yet we have these people who work every other day like donkeys getting nothing? So we need to look at fairness. And remember, as a management authority, I'm not saying that we get, or rather we earn all of us equal salaries. No. Let's have scenarios where people get compensation, for instance, which is pegged on their output, pegged on their output. And remember, equity also calls us to be quite impartial whenever we make decisions. So we have equity, very important. It is all about fairness. And then we have the last one. E is esprit de corps, or esprit de corps. If you look at, for example, these great armies, the great armies that keep on winning wars outside there, they really embrace this concept here of esprit de corps. Esprit de corps basically means team spirit in whatever that we do. Team spirit. So how do you work as a team? Do you have some disintegrated teams? Do you walk around as you carry on your functions as a manager of some team with some members who are disgruntled? You need to find a way, because it is only when we combine our wings that we can be able to fly high. That is why I always encourage things like these group activities. Occasionally, if you are the CEO, if you can afford, at times even if it is at your personal expense, take these people here for some outings. Although good companies should be able to finance that. At the end of the year, we need bonding sessions, bonding activities where we get to understand one another. Remember, we are living in an information age where information flies around quite fast, and for us to be able to really take advantage of this information which is flowing very, very fast, we need to be bonded as an organization. Something small will just crop up on social media. One of these people here that you are despising will come across some sensitive information which could help an organization big time. And if esprit de corps does not run through the veins of the organization, then chances are that particular person will stifle that information from reaching the proper authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've been of help to you. These are the 14 principles of Henry Fayol. In the coming clips, I will be looking at other fathers of management. Like we have got one that I love most called Max Weber. Max Weber is the father of bureaucracy. He said, for organizations' future going concerned, not to be under threat, we have to follow rules and regulations as the employees, as the workforce of these companies. In most cases, what spoils the broth for everyone is a scenario where we have individuals who are too powerful in this organization to the extent that they overrun the internal controls of these organizations. And that is why rules of corporate governance do not allow, for example, any single individual to hold the portfolios of chairman and the chief executive officer at the same time. Why? Because the moment you are the CEO who is running the day-to-day operations of the company, and you also chair the board, you will be willing too much power. With that too much power, if you call any subordinate staff to sign, for example, some check for you, I mean, they will not refuse. If they do that, of course, they will be going against the Max Weber principles of management. Max Weber basically fought for bureaucracy, that these employees should never pay allegiance to individuals. They should pay their allegiance to the organization that employs them, to the organization that employs them. And as we've said, in Kenya, what kills most of us, we pay our allegiances to individuals. If, for example, today a minister was to call you, even if it's on a Sunday, most of us, the way we will run to go and meet whatever they wanted us to do for them, I mean, is out of the world. So meaning that, I'm not saying that you don't respect them, but I would pray that we will reach a level in Africa where somebody, even if it is the president, he will call you, fine, you will enter into very good deliberations, but whatever we do, let it be guided by Max Weber principle of bureaucracy. He said bureaucratic organizations like the Catholic Church will stay with us for a very long time. Why? Because there is no way in Catholic Church you will ever get, for example, like the Pope calling a priest of some church, local church, to deliver. I mean, I hope you are able to understand what I'm talking about. I mean, even if it's said at the end of the day, there must be some rules and regulations that must be followed. I'm not supporting any church, please don't get me wrongly here. I'm just trying to show you an example of an institution that will stay with us for a long time simply because they follow rules and regulations. Look at even how they conduct their masses. It has never changed. The same way throughout, day in, day out. So I'll also be looking at, for example, Frederick Taylor, the father of management science. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, all these good nuggets are coming to you from RCM. In RCM, we are dedicated towards ensuring that all these companies outside here are run in proper corporate governance environments. We'll try our best to reach out, and most of our activities are really voluntary. You can call upon us, we will be able to come and advise you, in most cases for free. We have got a good, adequate workforce, which is highly knowledgeable. And for your information, we have got some C-suite program, a program that we run for chief executive officers, chief finance officers, chief operating officers, purely on these management principles, which will make them shine in whatever that they do. Thank you very much. We've come to the end of this clip, and I highly request you to share this online, on Facebook, on Twitter, all over, so that you can also give RCM brand visibility as they deliver this to you free of charge. Thank you very much. We love you.